Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a podcast with me, Brittany Duncan, a Millennial Homemaker. Join me each week as I share all the things I've learned that make keeping your home, garden, and life running smoothly, all while working. If you are enjoying the podcast, please be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcasting app so you get the episodes downloaded straight to you every Monday. Now, on to today's episode. Hello, and welcome to Untraditionally Traditional, a Millennial Homemaker. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back after my break. Have y'all ever called a support line for an electronic, and without fail, one of the first things they ask you is if you've tried restarting your device? Same logic applies to our home, and I recently had to hit restart on just about all of my routines and rhythms, which I actually think is a really good practice to do once a quarter or between seasons anyway. As we phase out of summer and into fall, one of the biggest transitions happens. Our gardens wind down, and we might be working on storing produce. There's months worth of summer dust and everything that gets tracked in from little feet, whether it be kiddos or fur friends. And even if you think they're clean, I promise that there are areas of your house that could use a deep clean, such as your sofa. School and work schedules change, and before we know it, Thanksgiving and Christmas seasons will be upon us. I know it may feel like things are ramping up, but if we compare our summer schedules to what is coming with the holiday seasons, we're actually in the calm before the storm. So how do we set our homes up well for a smooth transition into fall and winter? First for me is a deep clean. It's a flaw that's actually beneficial, but when my house is a mess, I cannot think. Things need to be put into order before my mind can operate on its full ability. I recently did a really deep clean, and I feel like I am now finally operating on all cylinders. But let's get practical. What did this deep clean look like? A full dusting, ceiling to baseboards, and vacuum. I'm talking wipe down the walls kind of dusting. For our home, which is about 1,300 square feet, this took me 3 hours. Side note on the vacuum, we have the Dyson stick vacuum. I've talked about it on here before. We've had it for 8 years, and finally it started giving us problems with the battery. And rather than buying a whole new vacuum, I decided to try out a $40 replacement battery from Amazon. And this vacuum is as good as new. Honestly, amazing how well it's working again. So before you replace your electronics because of a battery issue, see if you can order a replacement part for a fraction of the cost and limit some waste. I know it saved us a ton of money and was super easy, and I was really excited about it. Okay, stage 2 of my big reset revolved around using the Hoover Spotless Carpet and Upholstery Cleaner to clean our sofa. This is a time-sensitive job because I wanted to get it done while it was still warm enough outside that I could open up the windows to help it air dry after its cleaning. And this machine is a little miracle worker. It's similar to I think Bissell makes it, like the green machine, spot cleaner. I think they all work pretty much the same. But embarrassing to say publicly, but the dirty water that I poured down the drain after cleaning our sofa was disgusting. Our sectional is not slipcover, so doing this every 3 to 4 months is critical. Y'all know that Sage, our golden retriever, is basically our child. So, she's up on the sofa, her dirty paws, we're not precious about it by any means. And so this spot cleaning is really important to do. Okay, stage 3 was cleaning out my closets. Since I'm on a roll of admitting things I'm not super proud of publicly, truth be told, there was a section of my clothing that didn't fit me anymore and that I didn't think was going to fit me again. So rather than having clothing that I can't wear taking up space of our limited closet space, I put on my big girl panties and I pulled it all out and I sorted it into 2 categories: donate and sell. It's important to be in the right mindset when you approach this task. For me, I've got to be in a purge mentality because it's hard for me to get to that point. Alternatively, if you find yourself easily purging but regretting letting go of things after the fact, wait to tackle this until you're in a calm state where you can really dedicate some time to evaluating what should stay or go. As Kendra Adachi of the Lazy Genius podcast puts it, be careful of black trash bag energy. So depending what kind of person you are, whether it's easy for you to let go of things or difficult, you got to know yourself and know your energy and when you can tackle these kind of things. These 3 simple tasks really made it feel like our home was back on track, ready for winter. I've been opening the windows whenever possible to enjoy all the fresh fall air, and the new cleanliness of our home has sparked inspiration. Recently, I brought up a secretary desk that's been in our garage. Honestly, since we moved into our house, I love the piece, but I just couldn't figure out where it should go, where it would be right. And so I brought it up and I set it as a creativity corner. I've got my watercolor and pastel supplies set up there so that I can paint and create whenever inspired. Johnson's looking forward to using it in the winter months to tie flies for fly fishing. Creating space for creativity is critical. In today's world, we're hit with every excuse not to slow down and create just for creation's sake. And to me, the number one way to fight this is to create a physical space for it, a space that you want to spend time in, that makes you happy, that's inspiring, that's all ready to go whenever you are. So just drop that little tidbit there for you. Once you've got your end of summer cleaning completed, this is also where you can break out your fall decor. I find that after spending time to declutter and really get things clean, that decorating will be more simple and less Hobby Lobby threw up in here. No shade to Hobby Lobby, but in my experience, decorating seasonally can begin to look cheap if you're not careful. So here's some tips to avoid that I'm calling the 3 N's of fall decor. Okay. N number 1, go natural when possible. Nature provides so much that can be used for fall decor. Currently, I'm using local apples that were gifted to me as decor. As we move into November, I love gourds and I love fall leaves, and our maple tree out front just gets the most beautiful colors and it drops its leaves. And previously I've used them for home decor, and what you can do is paint the leaves with melted beeswax, and it essentially seals them and helps keep that color longer. Dried hydrangeas are another stunning way to decorate for fall. Just a look around in nature and figure out what foliage or do you have, what's coming in from your garden, what's local and seasonal. Decorate with your produce. Find those natural ways to decorate. Second N is neutral. And I'm not talking about sad beige kids, but think about the colors of nature in the fall. They're muted. Keeping your fall colors when it comes to your artificial decor in line with the real colors of nature is important to keep things from looking fake. I recently took some plain white pumpkins that I got from the thrift store, and I used brown and orange vintage stamps to decoupage them. Decoupage is simply gluing objects onto a canvas, and your canvas can be anything. I've decoupaged vintage suitcases, waste paper bins, ornaments, and now pumpkins. My favorite glue is Mod Podge, which can come in a glossy or matte finish. It's cheap. I use a sponge paintbrush, just one of those cheap ones. I found that the sponge paintbrushes work a lot better than a bristled brush because those brushes tend to lose their bristles, and it's really annoying to have to pick all the little bristles off of your piece. Go heavy on the glue and you'll have great success. Okay, and number 3, nuanced. In our home, there are small areas that I shift decor with seasons. First is our front door. I have a vintage fishing creel that I change with each season using faux florals. Summer tends to be bright, clean. I use white hydrangeas. In the fall, I bring in fall florals. Sometimes it's leaves, sometimes it's, I have some other hydrangeas that look more to be dried and, of that fall color. I have loved having a consistent base for our front door hanger and then changing the accents seasonally. One, it's going to save on a lot of space. You're not storing tons of different wreaths. I'm just storing the different florals that I put into it. So I have a bin that stays up in our attic that I pull down once a quarter to switch out what goes into this door hanger. Other ideas that you could use for a base would be a wall-mounted basket. This is a traditional basket shape, but it has a flat side so that it lays flat on a surface, such as a wall or door. Straw bags are another great option, or a simple natural grapevine wreath that you can weave different florals into for each season. I have a small one on our chicken coop. They get some decorations as well, and it works really easily. Basically, you just tuck in a few florals and they stay. Moving into our home, when you walk through our front door, you enter kind of our more formal sitting area, and the table that serves as our entryway table gets a small touch of decor. In the fall, it's a simple small pumpkin and a vase of fall florals. Our dining room table is the next area that I change out seasonally. So I change out our fall napkins, our fabric napkins. You'll know that I really do enjoy setting a table, and I think that fabric napkins are kind of becoming like a lost touch on tables that should be used in your tablescapes. They're super easy. They are sustainable. They're so easy to wash, and they just really elevate your table. So we're a big fan of fabric napkins here, and so we do switch them out really often. And so I break out the fall themed ones, and then I have a garland that's kind of some muted fall colors. I put in some small faux pumpkins. As we move into like gourd season, I'll probably switch, for some natural gourds. And then I have these glazed maple leaves that I made when I took a pottery class that are really fun. And so they're all different colors, and, it's something I put my hand to. So I do tend to break those out each season. And that's it. That's all the fall decor that our home sees, other than some fresh fall fruit in a bowl here and there, and changing out some, hand soaps and candles. Christmas decor is another story, because, I don't know, in my opinion, more is more when it comes to Christmas decorating. But fall, spring, summer, I like to keep my decor a little more simple. So I hope that these 3 N's, natural, neutral, and nuanced, help you to keep your home looking its best this fall. Until next week, happy homemaking. Thank you for listening to this episode of Untraditionally Traditional. If you enjoy the podcast, please share it with those special people who would love it too, and write a review. For more tips and photos of my home and garden, follow Untraditionally Traditional Pod on Instagram. Until next week, let's continue to make our homes places of joy and service to ourselves and those we share them with.